I don't think there's any way in hell that somebody that's intelligent living in Pennsylvania is going to vote for somebody that basically will eventually end fracking, end fossil fuel.
Oh, wouldn't it be nice, my fellow Americans, Nez Nation, welcome to this video. Wouldn't it be nice to actually have lower utility costs, lower gas prices, lower energy bills, actually build jobs, bring manufacturing back? Oh, this is how a press conference is done. Our guy, President Trump, live in New Jersey. The press conference just ended moments ago, and you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to watch the full 2 hours. But this is how it's done, taking actual questions from actual journalists, from the actual press. Remember, after executing a coup, there's no other way of describing what she did. She literally executed a coup against a sitting president in Joe Biden. There's been multiple reports that Joe Biden is furious, angry, especially at Schumer, Pelosi, and Obama, who helped orchestrate this. But do not underestimate this vicious serpent in Kamala Harris. She is Frank Underwood's mentor. She literally puts the Ruth in ruthlessness. She's Cash Money G. Fani Willis's mentor as well. She hasn't earned a single primary vote, a single delegate. She's the worst, least most popular vice president in the history of America. She destroyed San Francisco. She destroyed California as district attorney and then attorney general. She had one task as vice president, which was border czar. We have the worst border crisis in American history. It's been almost 30 days since the coup. She hasn't done one interview. She hasn't done one press conference. Make it make sense. Here's Trump talking about the response to Kamala's empty promises, saying that, I'm going to do all these things once I get elected. But wait a minute, you're there right now. Check this out.
Kamala's been promising on day one, I'll do this. And for basically 4 years, she's promised this day one.
Yeah.
What will you do on day one to turn this country around?
So she is saying when she gets in, she's in now. And especially with Biden, because, he's not in the best of shape. But you know what? She's in there now. She can do anything she wants. And she's still saying, if you elect me, I'll do this, I'll do... Why didn't she do it? Here's my one question. It's the easiest question. Because she complains about everything. Why didn't she do it? That's all I ask. On day one, we're going to drill, baby, drill, and we're going to close the border, and we're going to let people come in, but they're going to come in legally. They're going to come into our country legally.
Sounds good to me.
On day one, we're going to do many things. I can do a lot of things at one time. But the questions often is, what's the first thing you're going to do? I would say we have a tie. We're going to close the border. We're going to stop the millions of people coming in, and we're going to take all of the criminals that have come in, and we know every one of them. I know. And the local police know better than anybody else. They're going to work with us. I've spoken to a lot of the sheriffs, every police, virtually every law enforcement group in America has endorsed Trump. I don't think anybody's endorsed Kamala. Not one. I don't think anybody's endorsed.
Refund the police.
You know that better than anybody. In Florida, all over California, they've endorsed me. We have the relationship I have with law enforcement, and these are great people and people that we have to really cherish and respect and let them do their job and protect them. And you'll always have a bad apple in everything. You have bad apples as reporters. That I can tell you many. I'd say about 80%. But you're always going to have bad apples. But you have very, very few when you look at it. Very, very few. You have to let them do their job. You have to protect them. But basically, we're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to get the energy prices down almost immediately. And we're going to close the border. And we're going to get the crooked ones out, the bad ones out. And we're going to let a lot of people come in because we need more people, especially with AI coming and all of the different things. And the farmers need, everybody needs. But we're going to make sure that they're not murderers, killers, drug dealers, and the kind of people that we have largely coming in right now.
Here's Trump talking and referring to the assassination attempt that happened in Butler, Pennsylvania, which he says he's planning on going back. Check out his response here. Again, there's no teleprompter there. There's not one teleprompter there. He is answering this from his own volition, just off the cuff, using his own wits about them. You think Biden could do that? You think Kamala? Kamala hasn't said, anytime she says something off script, she cackles like a hyena on methamphetamines. Watch this.
Thank you, President Trump. You've spoken very passionately about how God saved your life, and I'm wondering, have you put much thought into why God saved your life? As in, for what purpose has He been shielding and protecting you?
So, I don't know if you heard the question. You've spoken about God saving your life, that I've spoken passionately about it, and something happened because that was a miracle. I never looked that way. The audience was massive, and it was in front of me. I never have that particular graph. That was a graph on, as you all know now, that it's very, I think everyone knows it very well, but it showed the great numbers on illegal immigration. It was the lowest point we've ever had. And it was one that I use less than 20% of the time. It's always at the end of the speech, not at the beginning of the speech. And it's always on the left side, not the right side. And yet, for some reason, I called it. It's not on a teleprompter. I do things largely without a teleprompter, frankly, because it's hard to hold an audience if you're going to go for an hour and a half or 2 hours reading a script. And I just talked about it, and I moved to my right, turned sharply to my right, ping. And if I didn't do that, I'm not here with you. So, yeah, God has something to do with it. It's a miracle, and God had something to do with it. And maybe it's we want to save the world. This world is going down. This world is going down. So
a good point.
It could be. But I believe that. I believe that my sons
What do you guys think in the
shooters.
comments?
They're like scratch golfers, better, relatively speaking, with shooters. Great shooters. And Eric and Don both told me from 130 yards. I said, well, that's pretty far away, isn't it? They said, no, that's like a 1-foot putt with, weapons like the one being used. Plus, he was a good shooter. This guy was a good shooter. He went to the range and shot a lot, and he was supposed to be a pretty good shooter. They said a bad shooter would hit the target almost 100% of the time. So something happened. And I have to say the Secret Service sniper did an amazing job. He had 5 seconds to find the target and hit the target, and he hit the target within, think of this, 5 seconds. And he was much further away because he was over here, and this other person was over there. So you have to give credit. And I have to also say about the Secret Service, when I was hit, I knew it because when I touched, there was blood pouring all over my hand. I said, I guess I know what that is. And I was going down for protection. And they were screaming, get down, get down. There was bullets. And those Secret Service guys were, and person, Kate, they were on top of me in a matter of, I think, 3 seconds. It was time dead. And bullets were coming out. I would hear the bullet. I didn't realize you could hear it, but now I know very well. Those bullets were going right over my head. They were there and very brave. There was nobody that said, I'm not going to be going there. They just, they were there very quickly, and they were very brave. There were mistakes made, obviously. He shouldn't have been up there. The roof should have been taken care of, and there were mistakes made. There's no question about it. But there was a lot of bravery also. We have to remember that. Okay, thank you very much.
It's very interesting. I mean, a lot of you guys might not know this if you're not a regular viewer here of our channel. I was live on that fateful day on July 13th. 2024, a day that will continue and forevermore live in infamy. I was live during that rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. I was live. I was probably one of the first people to broadcast when that happened. And when it happened, our live concurrent viewership quadrupled instantaneously. It was very traumatizing. It was extremely just a national wound. Maybe even a global wound. But what really troubles me and should trouble you, and really this is the whole crux of this channel, is the fact that the corporate woke media completely glossed over it. They even falsely reported it. They said things like, oh, he fell down, but he's okay. They refused to use the word assassination attempt. They refused to use the word he was shot. It just pains me to no end, you guys. This is why I keep saying I need you to hit that like button, and I need you to comment. I need you to share. Not for me. It has zero to do with vanity. I put everything on that. It has to do with getting our country back. We need to inform our citizenry. An informed citizenry usually executes informed decisions. And when we have an informed citizenry making informed decisions, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Americans, Nez Nation, that benefits you, me, the entire country, and indirectly and directly the entire world. There's Trump talking about America's credit and how absolutely abhorrent America's credit card debt has reached another record under Kamala. Check this out.
Thank you. I'm going to talk about credit card debt for just a second. You've got all these
reached
items.
a record.
It's a record.
Credit card.
48% up. And many families going into debt just to pay for groceries.
Yeah.
What's your message to Americans right now that you can make America affordable again?
Well, I would say my message to them. So he said, credit card debt is at the all-time high. It's never been like this. What's your message to America? How are we going to solve that, and what will they do? You know what I think they should do? They should, on November 5th or sooner, if it's early voting, which largely it is, which is ridiculous. We should have one-day voting, paper ballots. We should have voter ID, and we should have proof of citizenship, because people are voting and people are going on now without citizenship. But we should do it, and maybe we'll be able to get that done too. It's one of the things I want to do. But my message to them would be very simple: vote for Trump, and we're going to fix the problem. We're going to get it fixed. We'll get it fixed.
There's Trump talking about Tim Walz and why he thinks J.D. Vance is weird. I mean, this has been happening a lot by the radical left and the Kamala contingency. They keep saying, boy, these Republicans are weird. J.D. Vance is weird. Trump is, because they have nothing to stand on. They have nothing to say. They have no policies, nothing at all. So they resort to ad hominem, and it doesn't even make sense. Who are you calling weird? You guys are calling us weird. You executed a coup on a sitting president. You don't have a single policy to stand on. You support puberty blockers before the age of consent. You support all sorts of anti-American individuals protesting and screaming genocide to Israel and other countries and disrupting freeways, universities, places of business. You supported the 2020 BLM riots. We're the weird ones? Listen to this.
She certainly attacks me personally. She actually called me weird. He's weird. It was just a soundbite. And she called J.D. and I weird. He's not weird. He was a great student at Yale. He went to Ohio State, graduated in 2 years at the top of his class, and all of these different things. And we have this guy that's running a very failed state, who's had a terrible career. I mean, you have him saying they're weird. No, he's a weird guy. And she's weird in her policy. Who wouldn't want to have strong borders? Who doesn't want to have lower taxes? You know, all my life I've watched as politicians campaigned, and I've always been on, for the most part, on the other side, on the side that these people are on. And they always talked about, we're going to reduce taxes. This is the only campaign I've ever heard where they're saying, we're going to increase your taxes.
And then finally, this is President Trump being very presidential, talking about relationship with one of the biggest economies in the world, one of the biggest, you could almost say adversaries, at least the relationship has become more adversarial with Biden and Kamala, China. Check this out.
What's your plan for holding China accountable if you get reelected?
Well, I want to get along with China. I had a great relationship with President Xi. We made a fantastic trade deal, $50 billion of farm products and manufacturing products they had to buy here, and they were adhering to it. They don't adhere to it anymore because they don't respect Harris or Biden. But as you know, we signed a trade deal with China, and it was actually better than even the USMCA. It was a great trade deal. China had to buy $50 billion, not $15 billion, not anything else, $50 billion. And it was a great trade deal. I think that that's one of the underrated things. I think we'll have a great relationship with China. I hope we're going to have a great relationship. But it's got to be a fair relationship. China was taking advantage of the country for years. But so was every other country, in all fairness to China. Every single country was taking advantage of the United States. I can't think of one country where we were doing better than them.
So in conclusion, President Trump's plan to defeat inflation, unleash American energy, rein in wasteful federal spending, regulation cuts, tax cuts, rebalance trade, and stop illegal immigration. He supports legal immigration. It's illegal immigration that he doesn't support. My fellow Americans and as a nation, this is how a leader executes a press conference. This is how a leader shows that he is cogent, sharp as a tack, with it, has all his faculties about him and executes and actually conveys real substantive policies that have a track record. He did it before COVID. He's going to do it again once he gets into office. And so the big question is why? Why is Kamala Harris not speaking to anybody, even to a media that's friendly to her? Why hasn't she done one interview, one press conference, little snippet, and even a podcast? Nothing. I mean, Trump's talked to Elon Musk. Trump has gone on various shows. He did Aiden Ross's show. He did Logan Paul's podcast. He did the All In podcast with Silicon giants like David Sachs. He's done interview after interview. He went into the Lion's Den, CNN, Dana Bash, and fake Tapper, and destroyed Biden in that first debate that he actually wanted, which was earlier than expected. This guy has not backed down from one challenge. He gets shot, takes a bullet for democracy, and gets right back up and yells, "Fight, fight." I mean, the most inspiring, badass move in the history of world leaders. I mean, the only thing that comes close is TR's speech where he was shot. My favorite president, Theodore Roosevelt, prior to Trump, that we wouldn't have America, a modern America, if it wasn't for Theodore Roosevelt. So I'm a huge fan of his. Same temperament, same DNA, same amount of balls. We need balls back into this country. Hey, Kamala, what are you so afraid of? Why won't you answer a single question off script? I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think of this press conference? Him answering questions off the cuff, sharp, fast, with it, together, cognitive. And why do you think Kamala, what do you think she's so afraid of? Let me know in the comments down below. I can't wait to hear from you. Also, of course, every time if you make it this far in the video, in the pinned comment is our free newsletter. Make sure you sign up for that. It's free. It's literally your insurance policy, so you never miss out on all the latest breaking that we need to know, that you need to know, that corporate woke media doesn't share with you. So sign up for that. That's in the pinned comment, show notes, and description down below. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right now. This one was posted today. Subscribe, follow, and as always, may God bless you, and may God bless America. I'll see you soon.